Here we are again in the Aviation Heritage Center in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. It's a great little place here, but I'm going to continue this tale of leaving Southeast Asia. Got as far as Anchorage, Alaska. Went through customs and came out of customs, and I didn't have much money left, so I was looking for a place to stay. But I knew Roger Vickery from Saigon and from Laos was there too. So I got a hold of Roger. Now, this time of the year, when we got there, it was still severe daylight, almost not 24 hours a day, but it was long days, so there was black paper on the windows of his apartment so that you could sleep at night without glaring sunlight coming through. One night there, and then I ended up staying with a couple that had sought refuge in Saigon during the Tet Offensive. Then hunting for a job. Well, I went around to the various places and caught a ride with Windship because Roger was flying for them, and he had me ride co-pilot in a Twin Otter for a couple trips, and that was fun. But then I saw C-46s sitting out there in the corner of the ramp, and went over to there, and it was Fairbanks Airlines. They had two C-46s and a couple Lockheed Electras there. They were flying cargo and passengers throughout Alaska. Now the C-46s was kind of my thing to go for. So I liked the old C-46, and John Wyron was the chief pilot there, and he made one trip with me to make sure I could still fly the thing, and we ended up losing an engine and spending a few days in a military base at Barrow, Alaska, which is up near the Arctic Sea, very close to it. And got the engine changed after they pitched a tent over it and put heaters in there so the mechanics could get in there and change an engine, and then cranked it up and went back to Anchorage. Once on the ground at Anchorage, I became on the schedule as a captain and began flying throughout Alaska. There was just a lot of different places we went to. One was Anatumik Pass up in the Brooks Range, and Kotzebue, which was on the coast, where we'd pick up salmon that the natives had caught in barrels and fly that down to Anchorage where they get into the canning factory. And there was a lot of other places we'd stop and do cargo and passengers from there to back to Anchorage so they could either go home or whatever. One was Red Devil, which was a gold mine in Alaska, and they would almost strip search the guys coming out. They were allowed to take one nugget of gold with them and go home. But it was an interesting adventure. And the weather was a big issue there. You weren't supposed to take the piston engines up to stuff that's 40 below zero, but we did. And we would also not shut the engines down in those areas because you would never start again. The oil would get so thick that it wouldn't be able to turn it over, the engine turned over with the starter. And that was kind of the life there. And then, of course, you had the problems of getting to the airport and back to your apartment. And that I bought a Ford Falcon. It was an older one, but it was reasonably priced, $500, and operated that thing. And with all cars up there in that part of the world, at night you plugged it into a power outlet because there was a block heater in there to keep the oil from congealing to the point where you couldn't start it. And you also had that in shopping centers, places to plug your car in when you went in to shop. It was not my idea of fun. And I knew that Alaska would not be my staying place. Thank you.